What's up, everybody? So judgment and fear is something that Kelly and I were just talking about. But first off, what's really been on my mind, and I've said this before, but I don't know if I've ever really gotten it. I've never said it on here, but in our house growing up, I don't remember my mom and dad ever fighting. Me personally, I don't remember a single fight ever in our house. I don't remember, it was just always, there were some kids that got a little rambunctious and loud and fighting, and I've seen some fighting in my house, but in my entire life, I don't remember ever seeing my parents fight or raise their voice. I got a couple spankings and stuff, but there was a piece there that I feel it was just really abnormal. Like, I'm not judging it as good or bad, but it was just always peaceful, but there was also just a feeling of like closing doors and having to twist the knob to be quiet, and just always, it was always a peaceful, quiet. I don't even know if peaceful is the word. I always felt peace there, but looking back on it, there was always, don't want to wake anybody up, always. And it's not like I think it created a sneaky type of person. Just looking back on it, like I was always not wanting to disturb anything. And as it got older, as teenagers, we're loud and fighting, and there was fighting and stuff, but when it came to my parents, I never ever saw that type of behavior. And whenever I think about like if I'm in my room, I can hear everything, inside, outside. I know what's going on around me because that's the way I grew up. And so now, anytime I'm hearing something, it's like, it's really a disturbance. And I think about, like, most people in the world, their parents fought. People fight. People have arguments. And people slept through that kind of stuff. They learn how to sleep through parents fighting in the background, and there's just a lot of that in the world. Most of my life I've lived like just internalizing things, keeping things quiet, not wanting to disturb things, to make a disturbance, while I was just a complete disturbance among all the peace. And it's like the more that I fought against disturbing, the more I fought against, and it's just the natural law of this world. The more that I fear something, the more that I focus on that, the more I'm going to attract that into my life. So my whole life, like, I've wanted to be like peace, and I've just created a lot of disturbance in my environment. And today I don't care now. Like I always, even in the last couple of years, I feel like I have to be quiet in my bedroom, and I have to be quiet when I'm walking around, and it's just not normal. It's not normal. People are loud. People make noises. People close doors without twisting the knob and closing it to where it's really quiet. You don't wake anybody up. So in my desire to constantly create an environment out of fear of disturbing, I have attracted just complete destruction in my life. And now today, it's like I, life is just so much more peaceful without those judgments of, am I doing things right? Am I doing I just don't feel the need to impress, or to, like, I just threw everything out yesterday on a buddy of mine, and I mean, it was no big deal.
What you mean you threw everything out on a buddy?
Of my life.
Like you spoke?
Yeah,
you were,
I
like,
spoke
telling him
things,
about
and I
stuff.
mean, he might already know, but yeah, I shared who I am, which we've done on here. So I mean, maybe he's watched some videos, I don't know, but like, I think it just completely changed the environment out of my desire to be like this peaceful. I don't want anybody to see me in a certain light. Although we do this for the whole world, I still feel like nobody knows, you know? It's just such a lie that I tell myself. And I've said that. Everybody knows. And it's like the anonymous programs, the 12-step programs, it's like, why is anybody worried about getting their life right and seeking help? And people might know that I'm clean and that I'm living my life right. Why is that embarrassing? But walking around and stumbling around and going to church and falling out the pew and doing all the things that I did when I was loaded, why would I be embarrassed about getting right? I don't know, I'm kind of rambling, but yeah, just always wanting the peace, always fighting against being a disturbance has just naturally attracted that into my life. Just constant disturbance.
As you were talking, I mean, I'm like in tears. I'm like, there's so much is coming up because, like, I just haven't put all that together. I haven't recognized it, I don't think. Or maybe I have, but I don't know. It's just coming up right now for me because I'm really feeling it, and I've been really emotional. And I am the same exact way. Like, I don't want to disrupt anything. I don't want to disrupt anyone. And it's like, crap. I mean, I fight so, and that's the problem, is I'm fighting.
Yeah.
It's good. It's coming up.
Yeah. Let it out.
Because I just recognized you saying that, and then, like, I just shared with you a minute ago how the other day, I mean, I haven't been feeling good. I've been having a migraine for like a week, and so I've been heavy and low, and it's just been affecting me. And so I walked out of my house yesterday, and I went to Pilates for the first time in a week, and whenever I left the house, whenever I came back home, my husband said that he recognized when I left that me leaving, like, he had felt so much kind of like stress, like a little like anxiety, and whenever I left, it like left with me. And so he didn't feel it when I left, and I was like, I don't want, that is what I don't want. I don't want people to feel that. I don't want him to be on eggshells around me. And it's like, for the past week or so, you know, I've created that, and I don't like it. And and so, like, all this, you know, I'm just feeling it and recognizing it.
Yeah, you saying that is the exact thing that my children's mom always said, is she always felt like she was walking on eggshells around me.
Yeah, and I've felt that way so much of my life, like walking on eggshells around other people, and trying to control everything around me, control the environment around me, and I don't want that. Like, I don't want to be the cause of anyone else feeling that way. Like, and I don't feel like I am normally, like, most of the time. I feel like I do, like, exude, like, peace and love and joy, because I have that in me, but for the past week I haven't. Like, well, it's been a couple weeks. I mean, since my surgery, since everything going on, and taking pain medicine and just getting off of that, and then just a lot. I mean, I've just been feeling a lot and going through a lot, and so it's just bringing up a lot of stuff that I guess is just more heavy emotions and stuff. And obviously I'm sitting here crying, so there's a lot of stuff going on within me. But you said something about, like, and I don't like airing out mom and dad stuff, but it's just funny because it's true. Like, our house was truly very peaceful, and like friends would come over, and when my mom died, so many people reached out to me and just told me that whenever they would come to our house, it just felt different. And that they, like my parents' example, they wanted to have that type of environment in their own homes. And it's funny because I can only remember my mom and dad, like there's only one incident that I can remember my parents having an argument, and my mom like threw my dad's shoes out, and I don't even think she threw them. I think she just like placed them outside the bedroom door, and I was like, what's going on? Because it was just so foreign, because we just did not experience that, the fighting and loudness. Like, my parents we just did not have cursing in our house.
Stupid was a bad word.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
No shut up.
No.
Mm-mm.
No. It's just interesting to think about how we just had so much peace. But like you said, I think that a lot of times there was also just like a repression, like afraid to share the feelings, maybe afraid, because I still have that in my life today, the fear of, yeah, it's like fear of sharing what I'm going through, what I'm feeling, that it might disappoint someone or upset someone or cause a problem with other people.
Yeah, what are people going to think if I believe Jesus to be a certain way? What are people going to think if I see the gospel of Jesus Christ in a different light? What are people going to think if I say a certain thing, if I do a certain thing? And that fear, the action out of fear, creates bad choices. It just attracts. Doing things out of a desire to fight against dark is just going to bring dark into my life. And
right.
It's just no way to live. I am who I am. And
you're right. Yeah, exactly.
It's just, and something that came to light was how everybody, I don't know of many people that had that complete quiet peace in their house. There's yelling, and there's so much dysfunction in most homes, and that's just normal.
Our dysfunction was just a different kind of dysfunction.
For sure. And
but at the same time, it's like, I have such a hard time saying that, because like then I feel bad, like, because it has nothing to do with mom and dad. If you just look at the way that they grew up, and they're, and it's like,
has nothing to do with the behaviors or the way things were. That's not the point at all. It's just what it has created within
right.
me. I'm not saying good or bad.
It's not.
I look back,
there's
and
no
it's
blame
like
anywhere.
My childhood was perfect. Like, I say that, and of course there's tons of stuff, but I never experienced much trauma in my life. But I have created a ton of trauma in my life. It's so being at peace with who I am today, there's still that constant judgment. And it's not a judgment of other people. It's what you're saying, like, what are people going to think about me? How are people going to judge me? And really, whenever I just throw it out there, and funny example is my daughter, she was at a ceremony and got a ring at school and was walking across the stage and did this goofy little walk across the stage. And I'm thinking, that's just awesome. I would have never done that. I would have been so worried that I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to mess up. So out of fear, I'm going to do everything as perfect as I can. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get the grades. I'm going to get the degree. I'm going to get the job. I'm going to make the money. But I did it all out of fear. And doing that, I've created a life of lack mentality. A life of just... a life of doing things out of fear is just, and you've talked about this, like the going to church because somebody might notice I wasn't there. That's not a reason to go to church. Now I can lay in bed. Like, I've learned that I don't like to get out of bed at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I like to lay in bed and meditate, and I'll fall asleep for a couple minutes and I'll look at my phone and it's been 2 minutes. And I will literally lay in bed and meditate for a couple hours. And that's good for me. But in the past, I'd be afraid somebody's going to see me in bed past 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just fear mentality. Doing things because what other people are going to think or see. It's just so unhealthy. It's so unhealthy. So just transparency and, like, this is who I am, the longer I'm off of dope, the better my life is. The more good days I have, and the more I'm learning to live without that, doing things out of fear,
Yeah, the vulnerability, it is definitely helping me. I mean, I have improved so much. I can look at that and see that, and like just yesterday too, I was telling my husband, he was a little concerned about me because I've just been, I'm not how I usually am, and I'm like, it's gonna pass. It always passes. I've experienced this. How many times in my life have I, like, gone? And I'm not depressed. Like, that's the thing about it, is, like, I'm not depressed. I know that. I just know, like, obviously I just have stuff coming up, and they're heavy emotions and everything, and I'm going through it, and I'm gonna be back into feeling the bliss, and I am doing the things, like, I continue. That's the great thing, is that I do have good habits, and I have stacked them on top of each other where they are my life. And so I do the things, I do the meditation, I do the exercising, I have eaten some things that are more questionable that I wouldn't normally eat, but I think that it all goes with whenever we're in that state of the fear, of the lack mentality, of all that kind of stuff. Our choices tend to, not always be the greatest, but I still can look at what I am doing and see that I am so much further, like, I'm doing so much better than I sometimes get in my mind and think that I'm doing. And that's another problem, is that I've been thinking too much. And I recognize that, I see it. And it's just crazy how it feels like, we progress to this point and we feel like, oh, we've made so much progress and we're doing so well, and, like, I'll never fall back down into wherever I have been. And then, like, life happens, and for me, a lot of times it comes with sickness, with physical body sickness. Like, it comes in, and it's just something that I'm learning. I'm in the process of learning, and that's what it's all about. Is every time that I have experiences with my mouth, with migraines, with all of it, that it's like God is giving me opportunities to do things differently, to learn differently, to recognize, to recognize my thinking and where it gets me, and to gain, I don't want to say control, because it's a letting go.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the letting go. And I have a difficult time with the control.
Yeah.
It's a really deep thing within me. And it's probably, maybe it'll be a lifetime of constantly just letting go. Because I've held on so tight, and just had so much fear of judgment. And it's come up for us since our first video that we did. Well, not the first, but like the second, on vulnerability and being vulnerable, and and the judgment, it just continues surfacing. And I think that the more that we share and the more vulnerable we get, it comes up. But it's awesome, because as it comes up, then we see it, and we can just allow it and process it, and we just get better and better.
Yeah. It's all about progress. And
Yeah, it is.
really, I don't believe that there's any way to live life consistently for a period of time in a fake way, with people in my life and being around people regularly and doing things consistently over a period of time. I mean, consistency in all these things that you're talking about. If I have people in my life, they're going to notice that something's off. I'm either doing what I'm saying I'm doing, or I'm doing what I'm doing without even saying it. I'm just being me, or I'm not. I mean, there's no in between. And I've been thinking lately, and I hate to even say it out loud, because any addict out there is going to say, ooh, whoa. But I don't think I'll ever touch another painkiller in my life. I fear it. Now, I don't fear, okay, I don't want to fear it. There's just painkillers out there. They exist. I love not being hooked on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love the feeling of not needing it. So doing it out of fear, or trying to fake it, or trying to get on here, and having multiple people come into my life and say, how can you get on there and do that whenever well, I've already talked about it. I went through it. We've been doing this, and so I screwed up, whatever. But it's not possible for me to do this consistently and be at peace and not just completely kill myself, whether I die or not. But I mean, end up in prison or whatever. But it's just being transparent. I think I believe that people that are close to me are starting to see that. Not fast enough for me. I want this to happen faster, obviously, but it's doing things out of fear. Even like the financial insecurity and all the insecurities that come with getting clean and getting off of drugs. It's like I create this lack in other ways. I do things that create the same comfortable feeling that I've had for a long time due to drugs. You're always needing more. You're always lacking in money. You're always lacking in peace. You're always lacking in everything. I mean, my connection with a higher power, with Heavenly Father, it's just a complete lacking. It's not even a mentality. It's a lack life. You're lacking in every way. And so now I'm living my life, and I'm making things better. Things are getting better in my life. And it's like I do things to keep myself stressed. I do things to lack in certain aspects of my life. And I want to stop doing that. I want to just be at peace with where I'm at, and not try and put on any show, or not try and do anything out of fear, but just continue to progress at my own pace and be at peace with where I'm at.
The lack mentality is so crazy. It really is. It's like
just generational.
Yeah, it is. Because, I mean, I can have so much money in the bank, and I've got a fear of, well, what if I, spend it all? It's crazy the way that those fears come up.
Yeah.
Man, they touch every aspect of our lives. And it's crazy because I know differently. I know that God is abundant, that He can give me anything and everything, and there is no lack. Yet my mortal brain is used to that thought pattern. It's used to going there. It's comfortable. That's what it is. We're comfortable in our lack and in our victimhood and in our story of how it's always been. And it's like there's so much fear in what could be because we don't have anything to show us what could be. But it's so much greater than we could even imagine. We can't even imagine it. And our fears hold us back from receiving. It just does. And I recognize that. I see it. I'm so aware of it. And it's like, how do we get over that little bump, How do we get over that little thing? And I think it's the faith, the faith even as a mustard seed. It's just the belief and the faith. I was thinking about miracles yesterday and how I've just seen so many miracles in my life. God is just a God of miracles. He makes miraculous things happen. And why would I ever doubt? Why would I ever... Yet there is that thing in here that lack, that fear of judgment, just all of that kind of stuff, and I really want to not have that there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, I was. We've said before all the decade plus that we went through self-help books and read all the self-help, and the 4 agreements was on my mind yesterday. Never make assumptions, and then the last one is just always do your best. And because naturally we're going to do things that aren't completely in alignment with who we want to be for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Whether it's a judgment or it's like, why am I judging that? Why am I judging anything around me other than just being the best person that I can be and letting that energy flow out to the world? It's just a matter of doing my best today. And, I have thoughts all the time that people just are never going to buy into Corey's Not Loaded. And that's a fear of mine. That's a judgment of mine. That's a mentality that, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Because at the end of the day, it only matters what I know, what is bringing peace into my life, what is working for me, And today I have more peace, and I have less judgment, and I have fewer of the things that I've dealt with in my life than ever. My timeline obviously is not in agreement with anybody in my life. My progress, the road that I've taken to get to where I am today, it's unacceptable. for just about all humanity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know,
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I know, and I think everybody that loves me will be.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, nobody's gonna have to answer their door, or Corey shows up, and the first thing that people want to do is look me in the eyes and make sure that I'm not loaded.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, how's Corey? You know, immediately there's a disturbance.
Mm-hmm.
Just my arrival around anybody that loves me, or that is the first thing, and it's a judgment, and I'm judging, they're judging,
Mm-hmm.
there's a disturbance around me at all times, because every single day is Corey loaded, is Corey not loaded, how are things, I mean, that is just how stressful. And how long is it going to take? Well, maybe it'll never happen. I don't know, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. You know, it feels good whenever I'm around the people that I love and they know that I'm good. And how many times is it going to take where that first encounter of how is Corey, you know, I don't know. And it's okay. And any addict out there, I'm sure you get it.
Yeah, because I do. You saying that, like, I recognize that I do that.
Oh, I have it in my life all the time.
And I think it's a codependent thing. Like, I want so much for you to always be okay. So it's like I'm constantly looking for the times when you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is such a codependent craziness.
Yeah, me sitting over
Because
here
what
quiet.
can I do?
When we first got in the car, I'm quiet, and you asked, "Are you all right?" And it's like, my first thought is she thinking I'm loaded? You know, I mean, maybe you weren't.
And I wasn't,
and
because
I
I was just thinking, are you, like, emotionally
but
okay?
That's a disturbance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is a disturbance, and it is not a peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want peace, you know. And it's I have to find it within me first. I have to find that consistent peace within me, where I'm not judging myself all the time.
Yeah.
I've gotten over the judging other people. We've talked about that. I mean, it's just people are people, and it's just people are who they are, and anybody can progress and overcome anything in their life. If that's one lesson that I've learned, a person can overcome anything if they want to bad enough. How much is it going to take? What kind of bottom does a person have to reach to really want that change? It's different for everybody, you know? I don't blame anybody for the amount of time that it took me, but I had a lot of help. I had a lot of help to keep me sick for a long time from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And just my life in general, I have been able to live in a way that I'm not at peace for a long time, and I've had a lot of assistance in that. And that is not any good, bad, blame, anything. It just is what it is. My life. And thank you for all the codependency and for all the assistance, because it allowed me to experience what I've been able to experience. A lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of upsets in my life, whatever it is. But today I've got peace. Today I feel like I don't have to go through it anymore. I don't have to do that. And you know, my addictive behavior is just showing up, and I can see it. It's showing up in ways, and I don't want that. I want it because it doesn't bring peace. It doesn't bring peace. Doing anything out of alignment with who I truly am just does not bring peace. So, being in a home that is just completely peaceful, it's not natural, because there is disturbance in the world. There is within us emotions that need to be released. It's okay to cry, it's okay to scream, it's okay to be not okay. And I never felt that way in the past. I never felt like it was okay to not be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so interesting too, because my house with my husband and my children for so much of the time, like, I created that same peacefulness, you know, where, like, in my husband's side, like, we just come from such different backgrounds, and so, like, if there would be any type of loud voice or anything, I'd be like, oh no, no, like, that is not okay, and I would shut that down. And it's like, and you saying that is like, I have not allowed other people to be able to express themselves how they express themselves, and I've labeled it and judged it, and yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
that's not good either. I mean, you don't want a house where it's just so much verbal abuse and so loud, and where it's constant like that, but there's a balance. There's a balance in there where we can, it comes back to Jesus Christ, truly. Like, how would Jesus Christ, like, if you have his spirit in your home, it would be peaceful, it would be calm. Yet at the same time, he went into the temple and he, flipped over the tables, and he did raise his voice, because there was this righteous, and we talked about this before, a righteous judgment and a righteous anger. And I think that we can discern the difference. We know when Satan comes in the house with his contention and his anger and the abusiveness that comes with him, and there is a difference with Christ's righteousness and wanting to set things straight and to be in harmony and get to that peaceful state with everybody. And we can have that in our homes and in our lives. It doesn't have to be in the extremes, but it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of recognition and understanding and coming to that point.
Yeah, and you can have that peace in your home with somebody yelling.
Yeah,
and somebody
yeah.
just distraught and stressed and
absolutely
crying, and you can still have that peace within you.
Yeah.
The human body needs to release emotions. I mean, we're stuck in this thing that has a lot of emotions that just, so it's okay. And I need to be okay with that. It's somebody yelling is not, it's not a peaceful feeling, but maybe that's what they needed to do, and there was a morning where it was a Sunday morning, and somebody yelled and dropped the F-bomb, and my kids were like, oh my gosh, because they'd never seen that before. And it's like, well, it's okay. We were being loud, and that was the way that person learned behaviors or whatever. Don't judge it. It just is what it is. And my way of doing things isn't the best way to do things. So, I want peace, and I want to do things out of embracing them. I want to go to church because I embrace the feelings that I have there. I want to talk about Jesus because of the way that it makes me feel. And I want to learn more about him, and I want to just gain knowledge about human behavior and why I do things and how can I improve. But fighting against anything and going against things and doing things out of fear doesn't work. It is never going to work. It never has worked. And that's what I've learned. Yeah, totally. life is good. It's a beautiful day, and
Mhm.
I am so grateful that I am not hooked on pain pills. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
you
you've
know, yeah, and I knew going into that procedure that, that I was being prescribed pain medicine and I was in a lot of pain. And I did take the pain medicine. And I knew it as I was taking it, and before I even took it, what it was going to do to my body, how it was going to make me feel, that taking it regularly for 4 days, it's now in my system. I'm going to have to like go through withdrawal of it. It's going to bring me down. Like, I knew that walking into it, and I made the choice to do it, and I knew it, and here we are.
It just
And it's
sucks.
like, I'm not on it today, and it's been days since I have, but it does. It sucks. It really
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I
Every
don't know what
time
to
we
do.
consciously do something that goes against who we want to be, who we're striving to be, it creates days of just unrest.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
And it is really difficult when it comes to physical, surgical stuff, I mean, yeah, I guess I could have not taken it, and just been in pain. And I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what the best choice is in situations like that. But I know it's not a good choice to feel how I'm feeling.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does. Hmm.
And I don't want to feel I don't want to feel the way that I've felt in the past. I not see that is a mode of thinking. I want to feel peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of I don't want to feel a certain way. Well, that's just it. I want to
Right.
be at peace.
Moving towards what we want, not away from what we don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole different mindset.
You know, focus on what we want, and we'll attract more of that into our lives.
Yeah, totally.
So I want peace. I want
Mhm.
abundance, whatever that even means. I enjoy. I mean, the world is so abundant right now of just beautiful flowers and everything coming to
Mhm.
life, and just there is a lot. There's so much good in the world, and there's just so. That's what I want to focus on, and just forget about the past. For, all we have is now, and now is as good as it's gonna get. So might as well enjoy it.
Right.
Love y'all.
Bye, y'all.